Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect.
How's it going, Sally?
Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going? Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me.
Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Last week at Indianapolis, Timo Kardelainen took the victory by a commanding 11 seconds. Join us today as we get ready to watch Round 5 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Austin Belkey. Joining me in the booth is Mick Cartilage. Behind the scenes is Ryan Bauer. He's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But let's take a quick second to look at the lap guide here from GSRC.
Welcome to Watkins Glen International. Situated in upstate New York, just south of the Finger Lakes, this track has seen it all. Few road circuits can boast hosting Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, and IMSA during its history. Though it did have a brief fallow period in the early 80s, thanks to the investment of local companies, it's grown into one of the premier road tracks in the U.S. With 4 layouts to choose from that range between 2.5 and 3.5 miles in length, lap times can vary greatly. But it also means it's suitable for lots of different levels of racing, from amateur to pro. The one thing that stays consistent no matter which car and which layout you're using is that Watkins Glen means speed. Many of the straights are very long, and the majority of the corners are fast sweepers. Some of them include a surprising amount of banking as well. Combine that with the proximity of the barriers, and this historic circuit retains a very old-school feel. Drivers in lesser-powered cars can expect drafting battles, while higher-powered machinery will test the skill and bravery of their pilots. Some of the turns are visually iconic, such as the carousel and the S's. Others, like the inner loop, the chute, and turn 9, greatly challenge even the expertly skilled. And of course, we haven't even mentioned the drastic amount of elevation change drivers experience. Between its rich history and popularity among drivers, this track stays busy and seems likely to be that way for a long, long time.
We're back here from that fantastic track guide, giving us a look around Watkins Glen International. Today, we're running the full kit and caboodle here. You've got the inner loop, known as the bus stop also, and then the entire boot. You see the chute, the toe, and the heel. It's a very complex, twisting, winding circuit of corners. But Mick, these guys are going to have it really, all to do today. There's so many treacherous areas of this place. Of course, the track length, 3.45 miles. We're going to be here for 25 laps.
Oh man, you said it. Treacherous is the word. The thing today is curbs. We just had a big chat about this before the race, and yeah, you got to watch these curbs. Turn 1 curb is a nightmare. Just the cars bottoming out on the curbs all over the place. So you see these guys on the exits, they really have to nail these curbs. Just one more thing to note, just as we wait for qualifying, the inner loop, the bus stop section. Just on the way into the bus stop, I just want to note that the track limits today are insane. You have to take this grass area and just literally miss the wall by millimeters. Just something to note as we get ready for qualifying. But yeah, these guys are going to be really on the limit today.
Yeah, that's so interesting that these guys have to cut the curb to the inner loop so much. I saw the picture you posted in Discord, and essentially the right side tires and wheels of the car are missing that blue wall there by millimeters, you say. That's almost infinitesimally small.
Yeah, and apparently it's the only way you can actually get around that corner without losing a chunk of time, because if you actually hit the curb with the tires on it, there's a high chance you're going to get thrown off the track. So you either take that line or literally miss it completely and cost yourself a good half a second going through the bus stop. So it's something the guys have to do today to be quick.
And you talk about these cars bottoming out, especially in turn 1. It's treacherous in any kind of car you drive. I remember earlier this year in the NASCAR Cup Series when Kyle Busch came here during the race, he actually spun out because the car bottomed out over that turn 1 curb, and it's so easy to kind of lose traction on the rear axle, spin that car around, and just nose into the inside wall.
Yeah, and you absolutely get no warning whatsoever, and you can't save it. The wheels are in the air, you're running down the middle of the car, and yeah, it's just a one-way ticket to the fence. Either side of the track will do, So yeah, it's going to be real tough for the guys today. The guys today have not run the bus stop layout before. I noticed in the history of the series. So another thing to note for the guys.
You can see the driver standings for this series on your screen right now. You got Timo Cardellini. He's currently in first place. You got Paulie. Pretty decent-sized gap between first to second. But, boy, second through really fifth is all sort of still to play. Lots of, very small point distances and separations between them.
Yeah, here we go with the F2 guys, and this is who's who of the hardest names to list on the planet. Let's have a go. Thomas Barthel in first place. Marco Salgado, I'm going to call him, -2 points. So this is a really hot contested championship. Guillermo Diaz, 24 behind. Cristo Schumacher, Luca Baracali, Aso Soltero, Jack Spickett, I like that name. Jason Clappett, that's even better. Antonio Alvarez, that's not too hard to pronounce. And Nathaniel Porter in 10th spot.
Yeah, really, tons of close point separation between those two. Talking about the race details, of course, round 5 of 12, 25 laps, open setup. So there's no doubt these guys have been pouring hours and hours into their setup over this past week. There's no spare cars, so if you do have an accident, it's so easy, too, to be caught up in someone else's accidents here, Mick. The walls on either side, you've got maybe like a car width of runoff for the grass before that thing just careens back onto the track.
Yeah, just another thing to note as we go into qualifying, a couple of guys are talking about 0x in that wall on the way into the bus stop. That's how close these guys are taking that line.
And then you've got a drive-through penalty at 17x, and the drivers get disqualified if they go over the 25 incident limit. So lots of room to play with here, but boy, you start racking up those incidents, a couple car contacts there, and you're going to be at that 17 before you know it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're just watching qualifying now. I'm just watching guy to note today. He's put a hell of a lot of practice in this week. Jukka Tolonen looks like he's got a provisional pole so far. Paulie Partnam just behind him, just about a 10th behind. So yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens with this battle as we get through.
Yeah, I've got Michael de Turk just behind them. Looking at here, Gernot Fritsch. He's hauling the mail down the back straightaway before he puts the anchors out of the car, just in time to break for the inner loop there. You can see him just kind of sliding over those curbs. Oh,
Wow, going up.
yeah, so hard to save when these cars get sideways.
Yeah, we're just on board with Uwe now. He's just heading down to, it looks like,
Heel.
yeah, it looks like the hill. So, yeah, again, this exit curve, he's just running over it now. As wide as you like into the left-hander, and this is back onto the other part of the circuit, and just that little transition, horrible left-hand turn that is, isn't it? I can't stand that turn. Just all over the exit, yeah, and again, giving the curve a nice bit of space there on the way out, just over the last curve. Let's watch him over the line now. Takes him out. I don't know if he's going to get a faster lap now because he's taking a bit of a weird line there over the line.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. You get quite a lot of wheel spin coming out of the final corner here, and I think he just brought that car down because it was easier to just kind of let it go where it wanted to. I was watching Javier Mosquera. He was coming out of the boot, and boy, when you come out of the heel and up towards, you know, back onto the NASCAR series circuit here, because it's kind of a cresting hill, you go over that, the car wants to unload at the rear end, and it's one of the hardest corners on the entire track, just from a staying on the track standpoint. You know, go ahead and forget about the curbs.
Oh, absolutely. Hardest layout, corner on the layout. I'd say it's one of the hardest corners on the entire series of iRacing. It's a nightmare of a corner. It sort of goes uphill, doesn't it? Round to the left, you've got to hug that left-hand curb and just hope for the best that you don't lose the back end on power coming out of the exit. It's just a unique corner on this track, isn't it?
It really is, and because of the way it's sort of inclined before you hit that, you know, the edge and you crest it, you don't know where the outside wall is, so you really just kind of have to hope and pray that you've set yourself up well, good enough so where you don't kind of make contact with the outside wall, but you're also not shallow enough to be losing yourself some time. Looks like we now can go to our starting grid. You've got Jukka Tullinen on the first. Tiz outside is Polly Partanen. Timothy Reed is in third with Kimmo Vidikadainen in fourth. Michael Tadurk in fifth with Alex Millward in sixth. Dylan Freckleton is starting off in seventh with Miko Lino in eighth. Nicholas Bacano starts off in ninth. And Tony Garcia rounds out the top 10, Mick.
Yeah, 11th spot, Peter Konecki, Karthik Pai in 12th spot there, Thomas Bartha in 13th, Seamus Power in 14th. Gernot, that's not a good lap from him. I'll be looking to move forward. He lost it in the bus stop there in 15th. Javier Mosquera in 16th, Gwendolyn in 17th, Andre Schuster in 18th, 19th is Daniel Gallis, and Chris Roberts is in top 20.
Got three more cars to round out the field. You've got Barry West in 21st, Phil Reed in 22nd. Rounding out your 23-car field is Ove, Trent Gareed.
Yeah, we've been watching to see Phil and Uwe climb up the order there. I'm not sure what actually happened on their laps, but yeah, that'll be interesting to watch those guys. Just one more thing to note, we touched on it last week. Phil Reed using the Xbox 360 controller, unbelievable. He was top 5 in the practice session, so yeah, guy's got some pace.
Oh, he definitely has some speed. It's just really hard to extract all that time when you have to do it for qualifying. And of course, the track temperature right now, it's pretty warm given the circumstances, 89 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, slidey. It was a bit warmer in the race before what I watched. Just watch out for that Lotus 79 understeer at the start.
Certainly, the sun continues to get lower and lower. 44% humidity, but Mick, I gotta ask you, you saw that wind condition on the screen. It's changing and gusting all sorts of different ways.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Going to be something definitely to watch out for as we get ready for the start now.
I see cars now getting onto the grid before we get the green light here to go racing. Finally, it should be an awesome race. Watkins Glen is one of my favorite tracks on the entire iRacing service, so it's always awesome to see whatever cars go around the circuit. And I'm sure these Lotus 79 machines are certainly going to play into that. See the last couple of cars gridding up now. See all the lights on the board. Green flag finally flies. A really good start from the driver who started in 5th place, Michael Tadurk. He's up 2 spots already, looking to make it 3 by the time they go into turn 1.
Yeah, great start, and a great start from Yuka as well. Leads up the hill. Again, you got to watch for this understeer in the 79 when the tyres are cold. That's all going to come to play as they enter the bus stop now. But I'm just watching Paulie. He's not close enough to get a pass done. But yeah, just watch these track limits, Austin, on the way into the bus stop. This is just insane.
Yeah, look at these guys just slithering the cars into there. Well, one car goes spinning in the back. I believe that was Dylan Freckleton. No, excuse me, that was someone else. Try to get the name on that car.
Just watching now as they go around the left hand.
Yeah, that was Alex Millward.
Oh, Alex. Oh,
really good save, though, out of the bus stop. I'm quite surprised by just how well he got that car back under control. Out front, though, it's still Yuka.
Yeah, just off the right hand up this hill now, just trying to get the power down. Again, this car has bad understeer for a good couple of laps at the start of this race. At the start of these races, just watch those curbs on the exit. You're not really going to bottom out there, but you can use all that exit. And this is that corner again, we're talking about the horrible corner to get the car out of. And then just watch the limits. Yuka in particular was running there all the way to the white line, and then a huge move to the left-hand side of the track to get the last turn down, and he's opened up a bit of a gap there.
He certainly has. Right now, he's opened up a gap of about a little more than a half a second. Everyone behind him pretty much about a half a second between each and every car. You talk about him opening up the gap and opening up the track limits as well. You have to do that to extract all the speed out of this car. And you talk about it taking maybe a couple laps before the tires really start feeling good. That's just them building temperature and pressure, right?
Yeah, just getting the temperatures up to racing levels. But the other thing we always touch on is the way the car changes during the race. So sometimes you'll see a car be really quick at the start and struggle at the end. The car gets looser as the race goes on. The guys have got in-car adjustments they can use, roll bar adjustments, which they will be using. Some of the guys will have a setup where they only change one, the other, or all, both the roll bars, just to get the car nice at the end of the race. But this is all going on now, isn't it? The guys are so close in lap times up front. This is going to be such a tough race for both of these guys. They already put 1.5 seconds away from Chemo now in third spot. But something we haven't said today yet, because I don't want to give the commentators' curses away too early, but this might be Yuka's first broadcast win if he does win today, and it might be Chemo's first podium if he gets a third spot or higher. So going to be great to see these guys if they can pull it off today. But yeah, let's just see how this goes. This is going to be such a tough race, Austin. This is going to be really good. Can't wait to get this one done and see how this plays out,
Oh, dude, I completely agree. And it's so nice to see people get that proverbial virtual monkey off their backs and they finally do something. It's just so elusive, Look like Dale Earnhardt in the Daytona 500. He finds so many ways to lose that race. When he finally got it done, it was just this weight off his shoulders and he kind of became a different man. It's just a different pep to the step, and you kind of realize, hey, I can finally do this. All this self-doubt I've had, maybe even doubt by other drivers, it kind of just all goes out the window and you end up having more fun in the simulator. These guys look like they're having an absolute blast out there. Just the amount of commitment that Yuka is having to use through that bus stop chicane is just unimaginable.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Yuka's thrown a lot of practice in this week, so it's something that does go into your brain, because I normally do that myself. I normally throw a lot of practice in, and if you do get a win that you didn't expect, or you do it through sheer hard work of practice, you automatically start thinking, okay, so I've done it this week, why can't I do it every week? And that's what happens, and you start getting the bug for it. So let's see if it can happen. Paulie's no slouch in this car. It's going to be a tough race for Yuka, even if he does win. So yeah, let's see how this goes.
Well, but, one of the questions I always find interesting is how iRacing develops the model for dirty air. These cars, you have to be careful because you can be way faster than someone with clean air, but as soon as you get up to their rear bumper, or in this case the gearbox, all of a sudden your car starts to become just plowing tight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it does. It's a good half second back. So someone who has won a couple of championships, both Lotus 79 and 49 in the same season, has told me all about this aero wash that the Lotus 79 produces. And yeah, it's a good half second back, which is just under what we got now between the two leaders. We're just on board with Paulie now, so
just watch how he catches up. So a couple of attempts, he's going to be about
Alex Millward's going to
10.5,
make a move here for 7th place. Yeah, he's down on the inside, Ryan. If we could get that, yeah, this is a move I was just talking about. Look at the commitment there from Alex. Just shoves the car in there, and of course, you talk about Dylan just ahead, kind of just backing out, realizing, hey, you got me. Of course, Alex had the benefit of all that draft going up to the bus stop.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see what downforce levels the guys are running today. Ride heights and wing settings always affect this top speed of this car in a massive way. So not sure what the guys are running, but yeah, going to be interesting to see. But nice move from Alex. Not sure how much practice he's done this week. He was one of the guys sort of touching on the pain of the bus stop entry. So yeah. But look at these guys out front now. It's nearly a 3-second gap between the two guys and Kimmo behind him third. You can just see Kimmo and the guys behind him just coming out that corner now and just into the left hand. Nice exit for the guys here in front. And yeah, just again there, Austin, you can just sort of get an idea of how hard the guys are pushing on the exits, and you really run up to that exit wall on the last turn. Here we are again, look, with Phil Reed. I can just about see his steering wheel, but this guy is using an Xbox 360 controller. We're not going to harp on about it too much, but it's just worth touching on. But look at this steering input, Austin. It baffles me how smooth he can be just using literally his thumb to steer this car. He's going to get a move done here. The guys in front of him are too wide, and that's not a good place to go too wide. Oh, they're going to get it. Phil's going to take this 3 wide if he can, but they head down into the bus stop. Yeah, oh, this is getting tight, but all over that curb, and Phil loses it. Wiggle there.
Did you see the wiggle out of that car?
Yeah, evil wiggle there, and just playing with his thumbs there to get the car straightened up. It's just insane how he's doing that.
And that's going to move him up 9 spots since the start of this race, so he's been at it these last 4.5 laps up to this point.
Yeah, I just remembered he started on the back row with Uwe, so yeah, like I say, interested to see how Phil's going to finish this race, see how many spots he's going to be able to get.
Up at the front of the field, though, Paulie Partanen is certainly keeping Jukka Tolvanen honest here. He's continued to just hound him. He's within that half a second, though, so there's a lot of dirty air like you talked about, Mick, but he's been doing a phenomenal job of just staying right there within striking distance. If Jukka makes a single mistake, Paulie's going to be all over him. And look at, again, you talk about the track limits. You just saw those guys put the right side tires almost on the inside curb and then sweep all the way out to almost hitting the outside wall.
Absolutely, and this is the most important corner of the track as Paulie gets the fastest lap of the race there. So yeah, some of that's the draft. So obviously these guys are on the limit now, but just watch the limits of these cars as they go over these curbs and just the track lines. Even there, you can see there Paulie's using a bit more curb there on the right hander onto the straight now. He's got a nice little run, but I don't think he's just going to show himself just to get Jukka to look at him, just see how close they are to the wall there. Giving the curb a bit of a wide berth there as they go into the carousel. Just get your foot down and let it go out to the left-hand side, all over the curb on the exit there. Looks like the car runs nicely there for Paulie. Nice apexes there for both the guys. And this is a tough corner, Austin. Watch Jukka's line here. He takes a really wide line on the way in, a nice late apex. Paulie's doing the same line, and then we're up the hill now to the right-hander, and then back into this old left-hand turn, which is a nightmare. So hard on the brakes now, turn right, get it woed. Jukka's using all of the curb out over the other side of the curb, and then we get to this horrible left-hander where it's an absolute nightmare to get the power down.
Yeah, Jukka went for a pretty gnarly looking slide there on the exit for the heel of the boot. Luckily he held on to it, and then of course these guys go up to the next turn, that gnarly left-hander when they go over that crest. Super hard to maintain control of the car, and boy, these guys are really on it between the two of them. This is a Bago back here. This is Mikko Lino, currently in 6th position. He's up 2 spots from where he started. This is a really good gaggle of cars right here. It's sort of just follow the leader for right now, and you talk about all these different drivers. There's a lot of momentum in draft again down the backstretch, but it's so hard to get a good run out of these S's here because you got the dirty air. It's hard to set the car up right, and it's really hard to just make a lunge up the inside into the bus stop, and that's the kind of the ragged edge that you play with.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as we watched the leaders back then, I was watching Mikko, just paying attention. He had a really nice run, so just watching them now. Yeah, Kimmo's there in 3rd spot. And looked like Miko backed out of it there just to keep things safe and get to the end of the race, because that's the main thing, of course. But yeah, I don't even know if I would want to go too wide into the bus stop, knowing that you have to take that line on the right-hand side, or risk losing a bunch of time, on the left-hand side if you miss the curb. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of this, having to run that line just to get round that corner. But yeah, it is what it is today.
Well, it's sort of, the racing drivers police it themselves. If they all just said, hey, we don't want to do this because it's too sketchy, some of the drivers might not do that, but it's, you're a racing driver. If you can do any single thing to gain an advantage over another, you're going to do that every single time that you can. And it's incredible to see these guys. They've all just committed to that. It's such a dangerous line, because if you just clip that one barrier on the right side, you're dead. And if you go too far to the left, the car is going to bottom out. You're going to feel it in the wheel too. You feel that physically in your hands, and then you're just going to shoot off to one of the sides of the racetrack.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier in the build-up, there's just no warning for that. You cannot plan for the car to
you don't see
go where it goes. You don't feel. Yeah, you don't get any warning whatsoever. It just does what it wants to do. You got no chance. But yeah, Yuka fastest lap then. So look at Paulie now, just showing himself, just as you go again straight over the curb, again onto the way into the bus stop. Nice line from Paul. He did get a nice line through there, didn't he?
I think he's been fast in the last couple laps. It's just really hard to get a run here. And this last time going into the toe, I saw Paulie go for a pretty gnarly looking slide back and forth just to try and fill up the mirror of the car in front of him. Of course, that being Jukka Tolinen.
Oh, looks like we got Tim Reed in the pits. So let's just check out what happened to Tim. Oh, is it going to be a foul into the wall? Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Yep, of course.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a passenger at that point. You saw his right front just kind of off at a weird-looking angle. This is riding on board with Tim.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure he hit it with the back wheel. I think he looked like he hit with the front. Yeah, front wheel. I mean, those are the limits, Austin. I mean, the way these guys have to run into that corner like that, you have to get onto that grass. And that's the thing, if you miss it slightly, you risk coming off the other side of the track. There's just no other way. There's no other way to run it. So, yeah.
Well, you have to be committed. It's a do or die scenario, and unfortunately for Timmy, he died. But a lot of the other drivers right now, they're kind of just riding that ragged edge of control.
This looks like it's on, don't it, Austin? Oh, Paulie's looking pretty tasty now, going up through the S's now.
Following the leader, yeah, he really wants this lead for himself. I think he's like, hey, my car is handling right where I want it to be right now. I feel like I could go a lot faster if you just let me by, Yuka.
Yeah, is he going to show himself on the way into the bus stop? No, but the guys, again, over the grass, over the left-hand curb for both of them. And yet again, Paulie's a lot better through the bus stop. Maybe a little bit better for the carousel, but Yuka's really overrun the carousel there, where he's really trying to get the power down. Into the left-hander. Yeah, tough corner.
Slide too.
Yeah, really on the limit, these guys. Yuka wants this bad. Like I say, first broadcast race win potentially, so yeah, he's going to want this one. He knows he's got the speed today.
Guys, they're putting on a blistering pace here, Mick. I mean, you look at the gap between the front two, 0.3 of a second, and then it's almost 6 seconds back to Kimo behind him. And then, of course, I think right now Kimo's a little bit of a cork in the bottle. And some of this too, Mick, I'm not sure. Maybe Kimo's just kind of saving his tires for later in the race to make sure he has that third position sort of locked up.
Yeah, it could well be. Like I said earlier, I know Kimo's done a lot of practice this week for this race, so yeah, he's going to be really wanting to get this podium nailed if he can. Gap slightly opened up between the two leaders now. There's nothing of it, but it has opened up slightly, so expect that to close down now as they go into turn one and then back up the hill through the S's. Easily flat out in this car, Austin, just no worries whatsoever, just right, left, right, and then onto the back straight, and then here we go again. Down this straight for the bus stop, and Paulie's looking a little bit closer this time.
He's looking closer, but he hasn't gotten that side-by-side call from the spotter, and I think he kind of realizes that even though he's faster, he doesn't just want to make a lunge from about a car length and a half back. Kind of disrespectful dive bomb if you do that, so I think he's just waiting for his moment. We're not even halfway through the race either, so there's still a lot of play time left.
Yeah, absolutely, and There's no chance of a dive bomb. I mean, these guys are absolutely on the limit, aren't they? There's no way he's going to overrun Yuka into a corner. And, you know, if you're fighting back down the field, you know, maybe some of the guys are braking a little bit early. But no, these guys are on the absolute limit. You can't get this car go around this track any faster than they are.
No, you certainly can't. They continue to prove that because, you know, they continue to open up the gap back to third place. Of course, Kimmo Villakainen, he continues to be back there still kind of policing that second pack between these two guys. And you talk about the gap between, you know, Yuka and Paulie. It continues to grow and then decrease and grow and decrease. And it seems like it grows until they get to the front straightaway when they take the, you know, the flag here across the start-finish line. That's about as big as it gets. And then down the backstretch, it decreases, especially into the bus stop. And I think after that, Yuka is the faster of the two drivers. Oh, Paulie took the fastest lap that time by.
Yeah, commentator's curse on the fastest lap. But yeah, it's
happened.
But yeah, as we go back down the back straight now, and I'm just waiting for Paul. Yeah, Paulie's looking like he's going to go for this. This is looking a bit tasty now. Doesn't want to try it yet.
I think what Paulie's doing right now, he's just getting a good feel for how much time he gains with the draft down the back straightaway. This is riding on board with Paulie. You can just see the commitment these guys are forced to have.
Yeah, this is what I want to see. I love these onboard shots, and this is like a proper helmet cam. So just look at the steering inputs, and just everyone, you know, watching. If you're not even on iRacing, or you are, and you've not tried the Lotus 79, this is just so hard to do. Look at the steering all around the central position on the exit there. That's all foot down power and just getting the rear to rotate nicely round. Just see how much curve these guys are using on the exit, and might both go over the exit curve as they both do. Have to do that to keep the speed up. And then this horrible, this horrible, nasty left-hander. Just watch the steering straighten up on the exit. Again, even a little overcorrection there as he was running up, you know, through the revs of the engine. Again, just watch the, if we stay on board now for the last turn, just watch the exit wall as close as you can be to that exit wall, and then back over for another lap.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we go to a chase cam next time by, just behind him, you're going to see just how close Paulie's getting to that outside wall. I mean, it is millimeters, fractions of inches between these two cars with each other, and of course the walls on either side of the track. This time by, Paulie is not quite as close as he was before, so we're definitely not going to see a lunge, but you're going to see him get increasingly closer and closer to Yuka just ahead with the power of that draft. You just see him ducking out just to kind of get an understanding of where he is on the track. It's really difficult to see through your competitors ahead of you there.
Wow, Paulie was so on the limit through the bus stop there. The car was all over the place. He was a little, I want to call it like the Nigel Mansell sort of lying on the way in. He just really tightened up the entry into the bus stop there. I'm not actually sure he meant to do it, but it really threw the car all over the place through the bus stop. But
it worked.
These guys, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I love these sorts of battles. You know, there's not much been... No overtaking between the two guys, but I just love the way these guys are on the absolute limit. Just watch on the entry, look, they just run over the white line there. That's all about limits now. Just watch here now as well. Both right on the edge of the track there as they enter the left hand now. Back onto the...
That's some opposite lock there from Yuka just ahead. I think Paulie continues to get that through that corner just a little bit better, but I think at some point Yuka might overheat those rear tires.
Yeah, like, as I was saying before, just watch Paulie's really close now, and this is getting interesting because I don't think Paulie's going to go for the turn one pass, but he's going to be nice and close to run up the hill and now into the S's.
So far, Mick.
Yeah, he got fastest lap now, so this is looking good. This is as they both go nicely up the S's now onto the back straight. Just watch top speed of these guys now as they get onto the back straight. If anything, the gap's just slightly opened up, but Yuka's weaving all over the place. He doesn't want to let him through here, does he?
He's in his head now. With that weave, he knows he's in his head. But, Mick, I got to ask you, as these cars continue to go, you want to be, whoa, look at how far Paulie had to go on the exit of the bus stop. Would you rather be on old tires with low fuel or fresh tires with a lot of fuel? How does the handling of the car change as time goes on?
Oh, I'm not a Lotus 79 driver. I've never been much of a hand in this car, mate. I'd be down mid-pack if best. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I say, as the race goes on, these cars do get looser and looser. So you have to manage it. And that's probably what we're seeing with Yuka there. Oh, we've got a car off there. It's Nicholas McCarner. So what's happened there, but he's able to carry on. It doesn't even look like he's bent his wing there, but even though he hit the wall, but we're going to get a replay,
So we'll see.
Oh, I think he's going to overrun that curb on the exit. He came to, I didn't even see the other car that was off. Wow, what a crash. I couldn't believe that. Oh, it's Gernot Fritsch. Oh, you never see that from Gernot. You never see a car rolling over like that. I've never seen him crash. We saw him crash last week when I think about it. But, man, you never see that.
A tough break 2 weeks in a row.
You just never see it from the guy. I always say if you owned a real racing team, you'd want Gernot as your driver, because nothing like this ever happens to him.
Well, sometimes, too, it isn't like real life. Sometimes things, you just don't predict they're going to happen in the simulator. Somebody gets a weird run or a weird slide, and for Gernot, he probably expects for one thing to happen and something completely different he's never seen before. He couldn't just anticipate it. Boy, you hate to see that from 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, real pain.
This is riding on board. You're looking just underneath the gearbox of Yuka as Polly's just behind him still. This battle, they continue to be separated by just only 0.3 of a second. They continue to pull away from Kimo and the rest of the field. Kimo still, he's got quite the pack behind him. A little bit of gaggle of cars there. All three of those cars separated by, 2 seconds, Mick?
Yeah, that's right. I was just watching there, just checking as you was talking about the leaders there, just checking to see if there's any back markers ahead of these guys. It doesn't look like they're going to get any trouble with that. I was just about to say, because this looks like it's really going to go down to the wire, this one, don't it?
It really does. I don't see either one of these guys having a much bigger advantage. I think Yuka's faster in maybe 2/3 of the track, but Polly is a lot faster as you go down the backstretch and through that bus stop chicane. I just feel like they're so equal in overall pace.
Yeah, great little battle for third spot this is, isn't it? 4-car battle now, and like I said, Kimo wants this as much as Yuko wants to win. So, and he's pulling a bit of a gap, I think, isn't he? So it's looking quite settled, this battle, I think.
Yeah, Alex Millward continues to get up closer and closer to the back of that. That now it's a 4-car battle. I tell you what, Miko has been on it still. I wouldn't be too surprised if he were to make a move in the later goings of this race. It just depends who's got the tires by the end. And Paulie had a look there, quickly covered off though by Yuka.
Yeah, had a nice look there, didn't he? But it looks like it's cost him a lot of time there, really, relative. Nice little correction. He's on the way in there, but wow.
All that dirty air on him.
Up through this right-hander. Climbs quite a steep hill on this right-hander, and it's always been a tough one to get the power down in the exit of that corner. Again, just watch the cars as they enter the corner, just all over that white line on the entry. If they wasn't running that white line, they'd be nowhere near on the limit of that car. And if either one of them doesn't do that, they're going to really suffer in lap time compared to the other. That's how much on the limit these guys are. Just running on board with Dylan Freckleton now in ninth spot.
Yeah, you have to do that to be competitive. He started in 7th. He's fallen back to 9th. But boy, it's going to be, if he can just get past these 2 cars ahead of him, we're right smack dab where he started again. Always kind of a sense of pride to, if you don't start great, you want to finish better than how you started. Really, ideally, you want to finish better than how you started. And that goes for every single driver in the field. So Dylan, a little bit of a bobble at the start, but he's looking to get back these next 2 spots. Inside 10 laps to go, though, Mick.
Yeah, and the guys in front, look at Tony Garcia and Karthik Pai. There are no slouches in this series as well, so and neither is Dylan, for that matter. But yeah, he's gonna have his work cut out now, trying to get around to finish where he started. He was a little bit wide through one there. Karthik up ahead in the yellow car there, and Tony Garcia in the sandwich in the middle of this, and yeah, down the back straight again, down to this real sketchy entry into the bus stop. Just watch these guys as they go into the entry again, all over the grass there. Nice bit of curb. The cars look quite smooth, but look at the run he's got now on Karthik there.
Well, it's just so hard to take that run anywhere because you got the carousel right there, and it's such a long, sweeping corner. If it were a straightaway, you'd really be able to play with the overspeed you get through the bus stop on your competitors. But because there's a curve so close to that, it's kind of minimized the run that you get.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a wide line. I don't know if Dylan's ever going to get to that apex. He does nicely. So that's actually a good line to take into that corner there. Again, just watch the cars on the entry now. Yeah, nice track limits there from all the guys. as they head up the little hill now into the smelly left-hand. We can't stand this corner. It's always been a nightmare, this corner. Nicely through there for all three of the guys. Yuka fastest lap there, 32.1s. He's going to get into the 31s, which was almost qualifying pace, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, I saw multiple guys. Only 3 of them in the entire field qualified in the 31s. You got Yuka, Pauly, and Kimo. The only 3 drivers to qualify in that 31s. You had a 1, a 2, and a 9, respectively, from all 3 of those drivers. You got this side-by-side battle here deeper in the field. This is a battle for 12th position.
Yeah, nice side-by-side there, isn't it? Square. Just watching the in the entry and.
Yeah, that was a close one.
It was a close one.
Very gnarly carnage. You're going to see a couple cars taken out in that accident.
Down into turn 1, and we always say we like Andrew Schuster's Hitachi paint. Love that guy's paint, and it's always something to have a look at there. Look at that paint. It's just especially when they ran at Fuji, it was it just fitted.
Yeah, I just love the colors. It's a very simple scheme, but it just works on this car especially. Another side-by-side battle behind. That's for about 13th or 14th. Yeah, that move was done very, very clean from, I believe that was Mosquera. Yeah, Javier.
Yeah, looked like a nice move there. I was just watching Gwendolyn Older. I actually missed it. Just watching Gwendolyn now at the back of this battle. Nicely. It looks like it's spread out again. All as much as it was close just a minute ago, it seems to have spread out just slightly as they head up the hill again.
Yeah, she's given that 19 car a very good ride today. So
yeah,
it's good to see all these drivers out here. Not a whole lot of mistakes up and down through the field. I mean, you talk about the incidents that these guys are having and going off track and stuff like that. It's been an exceptionally clean race, and of course, the cars kind of have a hand to play in that. If you go off track just a little bit, it's so easy to lose concentration. Whoa! Look at Dylan. He went for a pretty big slide there.
Yeah, yeah. Track limits there. Yeah, nice journey round turn 1 there for him, wasn't it? And look at what it's done to him up the hill. It's really given him some pain against these guys ahead now. But just looking at the top speed of these guys, Dylan looks like he's trimmed out quite a low wing set. Oh, he's. I didn't actually think. Yeah,
you talk about that commitment needed to get through there very well. You saw, he didn't have a good run, but boy, the driver ahead of him, Tony Garcia, he got through there exceptionally well, and he did a really good job to catch up to Karthik Pai.
Yeah, he did take a really nice line. I actually thought Dylan was going to get spat off the track there when he missed the curb, but he just managed to.
To be honest, I was right there with you. I figured we were going to lose track of the battle just ahead, but he did a very good job to hold on to that car.
Yeah, again, he's missed the apex badly in the right-hander, but he's caught back up again. So I'm just wondering if what sort of wing levels he's running. He's able to keep up with the guys ahead of him through the turns and maybe get a run down the back straight. That would be pretty impressive because it will just show you how trimmed out he is. Just got in the back. Yeah, just got that in the back of my mind. Yeah, he's getting close now. Yeah, so half a second separates the 2 leaders, though. So that's as big as it's ever been. I think I saw an 8/10 gap a bit earlier on, but he's closing it back down again.
Yeah, just off the start, Pauly was being very conservative with where he placed the car, knowing that his tires were kind of cooler than he'd like them to be. He continues to put in a lot of fast laps, but I think it's most of the fact that he falls back from Yuka and then gets a really good run up to him, and he kind of stalls out as soon as they get into this 2/10, 3/10 zone where he kind of loses all that downforce, and it's really hard to just kind of send the car for a lunge up the inside, and that's kind of what he's been playing with. And when he sets these fast lap times, this is him knowing, he's going to realize he's almost getting down into the 31s, and he realizes when he puts down these fast lap times, he's catching up to Yuka, but he just kind of hits this wall of air where he can't really make a move after that 2 or 3/10 of a second gap between the 2 cars.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we have a chat to him after race, I think you're going to hear all about this aero wash and this wall of air that he's having to fight his way through.
There from Yuka ahead.
Yeah, just watching. I always like. I mean, we're on board with Pauly now at the moment, but I'm just watching Yuka ahead, and just watch now as Yuka gets on the exit, just right up against the wall, and then just a quick blast down this straight. Just a little bit of a rest here, and this is the most important corner on the track, turn 1. You got to get this right. If you mess this up, then you're going to be all in a heap of trouble getting up the S's.
It's all
both nice
momentum based. You know, you talked about it, Mick. These cars have all the downforce of the world to go up here. You talk about that right, left, right, and they continue to be flat out. I mean, these guys are cresting 171 mile an hour right now. They're going to get out to about the better part of 180 before they break for the bus stop.
Yeah, and when they're a millimetre away from that wall, they're at 140, 150 miles an hour. So it's just amazing commitment from the guys. It's not just the 2 litres, it's all the guys on track today just breezing that wall. But just look at the way Paulie's moving this car around now. They're having a nice look, just showing himself in Yuka's mirrors as they head down towards the right-hander, the uphill right-hander now on the bottom of the boot. Nice wide entry for Yuka, nice late apex for both the guys. Oh, Paulie's run a bit wide there, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. Just let's have a look, see how they run into the right-hander now as they go over the little crest of the hill there. Yeah, a slight gap just opened up a little bit, but just enough to stop Paulie from being able to show himself again.
Yeah, well, you talk about the toe of the boot being an extremely tough corner to get around. It's kind of like how you drive a short track, where if you want to pass the guy in front of you, you kind of have to enter a little wider than you'd want to and get the car to turn down and rotate. But it's so hard to tell when you're going to come out of that corner if you're going to just nail that apex and come out, wash all the way out to the left side of the track. And then if you do have a run, you have to make it work and stick right before you get to the heel of the boot, because that's a tricky corner in and of itself.
Absolutely. I was just thinking to myself as you was talking there, Rusty, I was thinking, this is the point of the race where if this is what's happening to me and I'm Paulie, this is where I start sort of getting a little bit annoyed. Not you're not going to
irritated, you know?
Yeah, you're not going to do anything naughty, but
for so long.
Yeah. But there's no back markers involved. It's a top split race, so no one's getting in their way today. It's all going to have to be, a fair fight and see how they get on. We're just watching a battle now there. Who we saw there offline, it was massively offline. I think it's Mikko Lino. It's Mikko Lino in the Ferrari paint. So, yeah, he was all shapes all over the place in the bus stop there for a second. Just watching Michael de Turk. Alex Mill, it's no slouch. He's going to be all over Mikko here. And he's going to be looking to move forward. Alex is a tough driver, and so is Mikko. Look at this line Mikko's taking. Oh, around the outside for Alex there.
The car in there.
Wow, Mikko's massive slide on the exit. Wow.
Man, talk about some car control. These cars are exceptionally hard to save, so for him to pull that off, he lost a position, sure, but he's done a very good job to hold on to the positions he has to this point, because that should have been him outdone for the race, making hard contact with the inside barrier.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean, that was the car on a limit there for Mikko, just trying to hold that slide. I don't know if we can any chance we could get a replay that on board Mikko? Because that was just that was insane. Just when there's a car next to you like that, that's just that's as scary as it gets. Here we go. We're on board with Alex at the moment. Yeah, so here we go. We're on board with Mikko now. Mikko Liner in the Ferrari paint, best paint on the
carousel
on the track there.
Going on the carousel, you're going to see Alex here. He's going to take a look to the right, and then Mikko's going to cover him off. Then he's going to go to the left. You're going to see him in that left side pod mirror, and then watch, he's going to dive down here on the outside, and he's just going to pinch him off on corner X. Look at this slide.
Wow. And the way the car grips up at the end, I mean, yeah, he's never going to save the position, but yeah, just being able to save the car there. I mean, that's all about, he doesn't want to give Alex anything, so I get that absolutely, totally, and 100%. Back up front with the leaders now, no change. You get a couple of tenths gap still, so what's Paulie going to do to get this one?
Yeah, Paulie continues to work his way back up to Yuka until he gets to that 0.3 of a second. Then there's kind of just an invisible wall where he has a really difficult time of getting any closer around the course of the race lap. And look at this. Oh, man, you see these cars handling just all over the place. They're very ill handling at this point. These guys have kind of used up the good of the tires. They're just trying to make their way around the track. They're going to have 3 to go after they cross the start-finish stripe this time by. And boy, Paulie really threw the car into that last corner. I feel like he's really good now in the entire first part of the track. Ever since they get out of that, the boot section, I feel like Paulie's faster.
Yeah, and I was just watching him as he gets into the 31s again. Would have worked 31.6 there, fastest lap. But I was just watching him on board there. You can just see the car on the exit. I mean, it's on an absolute knife edge when he's on the power out of these second, third gear corners. Really tough to control that, but nicely done. But this is looking pretty close. This is looking a bit tasty. I don't know if he's going to go for it. No, but here we go over that death curve. The cars jump in the air as they go over the curve. nicely through the bus stop there for both of the guys. Into the carousel again we go.
Yeah, Paulie still was faster. He got all the way up to about 1/10 of a second. Boy, Mick, you commentators cursed this one just as you talked about. No lap traffic. There's a car just ahead of these guys up the track. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I'm not sure
that was very sportsmanlike out of him, very gentlemanly.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was, but whoever it was, yeah, he did the right thing. But I think
That was Barry West. Yeah, now he's finally one lap down. He's the last car on the lead lap, or at least was until he got lap out of the 2 leaders. But, geez, thanks, Barry, for, that's all you have to do, getting the blue flags, pulling out of the way, doing a great job to not affect the overall outcome of this race.
Yeah, he did it spot on. You can't do any better than that from Barry, so well done, mate. Just watching, I'm in awe of Yuka on some of these entries. Actually, thinking of the like the track limits, you normally think of the exits, but just watch the entries and the track limits on the entries. I think it's actually harder to nail the entry limits and run these white lines, on the entry limits. So it's just something to note. It's not always all about exits, it's entries as well.
Oh, there's 3 parts of the corner. There's how you enter it, braking zones, you kind of trying to trail brake in these road racing cars. You hit the apex, you get the car to turn, then you put your foot back down at the power. You kind of have to will this thing up out of the corner with the amount of rear grip that you have. You're traction limited at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's the thing is, as you say, there's all the parts of the corner that you have to nail. Like here, just watching watching the right fronts, Yuka there on the white lines, you have to do that. You can't run inside these lines. You'll be nowhere on pace if you do that. So just watch again. Again on the white line on the entry, nice wide line Yuka takes. Now, I like that line he takes into the right-hander route. But again, you're going to know these guys are going to be on that white line down this road, down this run into the right-hander. So
you have to, and if either of these sides of the tires get off into the grass just a little bit before they turn into the corner, they're going to go for a big old slide. There's no saving that car. You're definitely going to find yourself into one wall or the other, no matter what you do about it. You can see these guys, the commitment here for the last 2 corners of the lap. This first one of the easiest corners. It's very hard to nail it, but it's easy to get about 90% of the way there. But boy, this last corner of the lap, the right-hander there, it takes so much commitment to do it right. But Mick, there's white flags in the air. This is the final lap. If Paulie's going to do anything to take this victor away, he's got to do it right here, and I feel like the bus stop is the only opportunity he's going to have.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a gap between the guys now. He wanted to be a lot closer than this as they run up the hill. Just watching his line up through the S's, just takes a little bit of the curb on the right hand side now as he runs up. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one.
He's going to have to use all the overspeed he's going to have through the bus and hope he can make something happen in the carousel. Watch the commitment. He's just slithering this thing through, using every single bit of track he can, just still not quite close enough.
Just watch the steering inputs on the exit, almost straight there. Yuka's really on the limit of the track there again as they go into the left-hander. This is going to be all the way down to the wire, Austin.
Yeah, watch these guys go here into the toe of the boot. Yuka's been a lot better with the line he's done previously, and of course Paulie's got all that dirty air to deal with. It happens one more time. Yuka gains a slight advantage coming out of the corner. They're not going to go into the heel of the boot in this next corner after the heel. This is one of the trickiest corners we said on the entirety of the iRacing platform.
Yeah, just watch out for Paulie on the left-hand side of the track now. If they go up the hill, he might have a look, but no, he's nowhere near close enough to do this now. Just all like he's only got 2 corners to go now, so it's looking good for Yuka, but I want to commentate his cursing.
He's going to come off the final corner, and it looks like Yuka Tolanen is going to win the race here at Watkins Glen International. He's going to cross the start-finish line with Paulie just behind him. And boy, if you're Paulie, you're really feeling for this, but Yuka's got to be elated. You talk about first broadcast win. This is Chemo. This could be his first podium, too, on the broadcast. And boy, the last lap, Yuka really took it all out with a 31.6.
Yeah, great drive from the guys up ahead. Who's that spinning out?
I think that's Alex Millward.
Oh
boy, shades of Jeff Gordon. Oh, watch out for the traffic behind him. And boy, if you're Alex, he was seeing red after he made that mistake, that little bit of slide on the first lap through the boot. And he did a phenomenal job to gain all that time back and just lost it there coming out of the last corner. This is deeper in the field. I believe this is Tony Garcia, Freckleton. No, excuse me. This is Ove and Javier.
Yeah, just a couple of corners to run there. Yeah, Alex Millward reminds me a lot of a guy called Madison Down, V8 driver I used to run with a lot. Came out that corner and tried to drift it and looped it just like Millward there did as well. So, not saying Millward tried to do it, but yeah, on that particular day, Madison did. So yeah, if he's watching, yeah, I remember it.
Certainly. But anyways, as these cars finally cross the start-finish stripe and the race is over, we are now going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to ride around the world.
I'm Mick Claridge, and I'm going to ride around the world on my bike.
My son, he gave me advice at the start of this ride, and he looked at me and just said, "Dad, don't be a moron."
Let me do my animal signal to gain their respect. How's it going, Sally? Yeah, I'm alright, Mick. How's it going? Worse than that bit in Lord of the Rings where they go into the top and the spiders in the tunnel. I'm just hoping there's a spider at the top of this one to kill me.
Freezing.
And I failed. I moroned up the ride.
Welcome back here for the Global SimRacing Channel. We just finished a race up here for the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series at Watkins, Glen International. Yuka Tolvanen took the victory. It was, I'm not going to say commanding because Paula kept it super interesting, super close for the entire time. Kimmo Vikalainen finishes on the podium for the first time in a broadcast race. We're pretty sure, Mick. Michael DeTurk finishes in fourth with Miko Lino rounding out the top five. Phil Reed rose in a commanding, just astonishing 18 positions from the start of this race. He started in 22nd. He'll come home just outside the top five in 6th position. You got Tony Garcia in 7th, Dylan Freckleton in 8th. Alex Millward, he had a bit of a bobble to start the race, went for a slide, held onto it very well, climbed up through the field, was looking for a top 5 finish and just barely spun off out of the last turn, kind of reminiscent of Jeff Gordon when there's oil on the track here in about 2010. So unfortunately for him, he falls to 9th place, just inside the top 10. Tomas Bartfai finishes in 10th. Just outside the top 10, though, you've got Andrea Schuster. Ove Trengard finishes in 12th, followed by Javier Mosquera in 13th. Peter Canetti finishes in 14th, with Chris Roberts in 15th. Gwendolyn Old comes home in 16th, followed by Daniel Gallus in 17th. Barry West finishes on 18th, the first car not on the lead lap, with Karthik Pai in 19th. Gernot Fritsch makes a very rare mistake. We decided, Mick, and sucks for him to do that 2 races in a row. Just outside the top 20, you've got Nicholas Makanos with Sheamus Power in 22nd. Timothy Reed rounding out the 23-car field. But Mick, I think we've got some drivers to talk to here waiting for us.
Absolutely. I think you're going to talk to, is that the first place guy, Yuka?
Yeah, Yuka, congratulations on the win. It was super tight the entire race. Paulie really kept you honest. But talk me through, the race in itself and the elation of victory, man.
Yeah, thanks. Well, firstly, my heartbeat is still about 150. Maybe that tells something. And maybe I would like to quote another Finn that's not usually saying much. Kimi Räikkönen, when he won the last Formula One Grand Prix, he won at Austin. I believe he said 2 words, but I will use just the last of them, finally. It's been a 2-year journey here, about, pretty exactly 2 years when I started driving this car, so it took extremely long. These guys are just so fast and talented, and that it almost takes out the joy of driving, as you must practice so much and do everything so perfectly to win. So really satisfied with this one. And I don't even remember much about the race. I was just focusing so much. So Pauli was there all the race. I had a little bit less wing, I guess, and I just tried to get every exit perfectly to give no chance to Pauli, and it pretty much worked. I guess Pauli maybe got the fastest lap in the end, but I don't really care at this point. So I don't know, huge.
Yeah, talk about the elation. Really, I mean, for you, there wasn't a whole lot of differentiation throughout the entirety of the race. You had to pass one lap down car. That was Barry West. Did a great job of getting out of the way there at the end. But for you, it was all just clean out front. Maybe you had to check the mirrors a couple times. I saw one time you just made a little bit of a weave down the backstretch to make sure Paulie was behind you. But boy, you've got to be happy about this. You talk about 2 years, and now that the proverbial monkey is off your back, you finally won one of these things. You get any other tracks circled on the calendar for this season?
Well, I like Phillip Island a lot, so yeah, if I have just time to practice, just to mention, I did about 500 laps this week, so that tells about the effort most I have ever done, and it showed really. So I knew I had really good pace, and Pauli was also helping me, and he could have done some tricks with me, but he was really just helping me out. So huge thanks to Pauli about that. He could have practiced more and sweat to me, or do some setup changes on last minute or something, but yeah. And I want to thank also Timo Karjalainen and Michael de Turk. Besides winning, it's really great which kind of friends I have found here. So it's just great.
Well, you talk about thanking your buddies there, and Paulie just behind you. Is there anyone else you want to thank before we let you go, Yuka?
Well, you guys for the broadcasts always, and I guess there was a couple of friends watching this race, and my parents as well, maybe. So thanks for the support always, and all the CTC guys, and yeah, especially the mentioned 3 guys: Michael, Timo, Pauli. And also really happy to see Kimmo to take his first podium. We were practicing early in the week, and I saw that Kimmo had nice pace as well. So really happy about that. So yeah, thanks.
Certainly. Thank you for your time, Yuka. Congratulations on the race.
Thanks.
That was Yuka Tolanen, your big winner here today. Mick, I believe you've caught up with second place finisher there, Paulie.
Hi, Paulie. Welcome to the booth. Congratulations on the second place today, mate. Listen, obviously you guys got most of the coverage today. I was just riveted by this battle today. We started touching on aero wash and stuff like that, and we was talking about track limits as well. Just give us your insight to the race today, because you guys were absolutely on the limit there.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have been friends with Jukka for about a year now, and we have talked about almost every week how to get faster in Lotus 79, and I'm so happy to see Jukka finally getting the win, because he has helped me a lot. He helped me to get the championship 2 seasons ago, and helped me a lot every week. So I'm super happy to see Jukka winning finally, because he really deserved it. And about the race, Jukka had a bit more speed on the straight, so it was impossible to overtake him if he didn't make a mistake. And he really didn't make a mistake whole race. Like, I was pushing so hard, but he just didn't make any mistakes. So I had zero chance to overtake him. So amazing job from him, and I get a lot of pressure. Like, I really tried to overtake that guy, but it was not possible. So very happy for Jukka, and very nice race.
Yeah, you guys are tight. We just heard Jukka's interview, obviously, and he thanked you as one of his guys to thank. So yeah, a lot of good friends in this community. Just give us an insight. I mean, I know you guys practice a lot. I mean, Jukka's just talking about he's turned about 500 laps this week. Just give us an insight into your setup, and obviously don't give us any numbers, but just, I mean, this car looks like it's on a knife edge half the time when I see, especially at the end of the race. I mean, just give us an indication of what's going on there. Particularly at the end. Yeah,
well, it's all the time on the knife edge, like really all the time. So you need to be very careful, and you need to practice very much. I think I had something like almost 200 laps this week, so it takes a lot of practice. But I remember, like, I won the race in Fuji. I think I had like something like 400 laps there that week, so it was a lot of practice. So if you really want to win, you need to practice a lot. So if you don't practice enough, you will make mistakes. You will crash out. You will spin, because you need to make the setup in the way that it's very on the knife edge all the time. So it's not easy to win, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we got Alton Park next week. How do you feel about that?
Well, I absolutely hate that track, but I try my best.
Okay. Okay. Anyone you want to thank today?
Well, Jukka, man, you deserve this. Like, congrats, and thank you for the whole week. We practiced a lot together. We made the setup together, and we practiced almost any kind of situation during this week about the starts and first laps and everything. So we had fun time this week. So thanks to you. And also, Kimmo, we had very good sessions this week, so thank you. Michael, also, we have fun this week, so thanks. And Timo, please come back. Thanks.
Well done, Paulie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a bit of emotion going on today, isn't there, Austin, in the audio interviews, I think. So, looks like you're going to catch up with Kimmo there, third spot.
Yeah, man. Kimmo, it looked like you had a lot of pace there at the end. Not quite the pace to close up on the guys ahead, running in first and second. Were you kind of keeping something, just in case there was a late charge you wanted to run?
Well, first of all, those two guys ahead, that pace is just unmatched. I don't know where they found that pace. First part of the week, we had few races with Jukka, almost same pace, but today I had no chance, and they just ran away from the start.
Well, good momentum here. I mean, first podium finish here in the broadcast. Now that you have this monkey off your back, we're heading to Alton Park. How do you feel about that joint?
Well, I think I haven't driven there with this car, so let's see.
So you talk about practice time. Is there a lot of practice time that goes into these races for you? You haven't driven this thing in Alton Park, so what, maybe a couple hundred laps, you think?
Yeah, I haven't much time on the rig last few weeks, and now it pays off, so I think I have over 300 laps on every row track this season, so something like that on the next week also, I hope, at least.
For sure. Kimo, before we let you go, what do you have to thank for rounding out the podium today?
Well, I have lots of people to thank about this. When you have guys like Timo Karjalainen and Andy T on your teammates, and then all the teaching they have done and getting me there, it's pretty nice. And also you guys doing this broadcast, and cheers to my dad who's watching these shows.
Sounds good to be. Always nice to give a shout out to the parents. Kimo, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Congratulations on your podium, buddy.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
That was Kimo. He'll round out the podium. Mick, I think you're going to catch up with Michael just really quickly here.
Yeah, Michael's an absolute legend. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you in the booth, mate. Fourth spot. That's pretty good. And I just watched you over the line, wiggling the car around there, giving it the big one. So looked like you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's my best finish at Watkins. I normally just crash out here, chicane or not. It doesn't matter about the curbs. I usually just die here, so I'm very happy with fourth.
Yeah, just listen, mate. Give us an insight into this bus stop entry, mate, because that just looked unbelievable today.
It's madness. You have to put the car in the grass in the, 100 millimeters that are between the curb and the piece of Armco there. And if you don't put it there, you have to miss the curb completely. And if you miss the curb completely, you're down, 4, 5, 6 tenths per lap. So it's really just a throw it in and hope you get it right and don't rip the suspension off on the wall or don't center it on the curb and launch yourself into the safer barrier on the outside of the bus stop.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Tim Reed come unstuck there, and he actually hit the wall on the way into the bus stop. So it's just unbelievable. So you guys, I don't think you're going to be running this layout again, are you?
No. This goes straight to the bin.
Okay, listen. So next week we got Alton Park. So how do you think of your chances there, mate?
I love Alton. I think it really suits this car. There's a variety of downforce choices, but it's kind of a medium to high downforce track for the most part. A couple of people try to optimize that run down to Knickerbrook, but in my opinion, that's a mistake. Also exciting for us, and I'm sorry to bring this up on Global SimRacing Channel, but iRacing is also featuring the Lotus 79 on their happy hour broadcast on Thursday in the 18:30 GMT time slot. It's open to absolutely everyone. We hope there's a great turnout, and even if you can't come race with us, please tune in and help support the series.
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself, and it's going to be a great thing to see because if you're going to get a lot of guys that don't watch the series, and to see the car in all this brand new glory now with all these graphic updates and stuff, it's going to be a real good show, I think.
Yeah, we're very excited about it, and we had 3 splits today during broadcast. I'm hoping maybe we can get 3 splits on Thursday, which we've never done before, but that would be great.
Yeah, nice one. Listen, mate, thanks for coming in and give some guys a shout out if you want.
Thanks, Mick. Big thanks to you guys for the broadcast as always. I'm sure it was fantastic. I can't wait to watch it back. I'm so excited for Yuka to get his first win. I can't even tell you. He's put in so much work. There's been so many times that he's been really close and he's been punted from the lead. There's nobody more deserving than Yuka to get his win and get it on the board for Sunday. And I'm sure the floodgates are open and he's just going to keep going. And also really excited for Kimo to get his first podium here on Sunday GP. So super excited on that, hyped for both of them, and looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Yeah, Yuka's had it tough, mate. Listen, thanks for coming in, mate.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Cheers. So that's Michael DeTurk, finished in 4th. So that's about it, Austin, mate. It's time to close it up.
Yes, sir. Big thanks to all the team, Mick Claridge, Ryan Bauer, Dougie Beard for these awesome cameras and all the shots. Make sure to check out our social media website, merchandise store. You can find all those links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. The next race for these guys is going to be at Alton Park next Sunday, October 22nd. That's going to go live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to also check out our other broadcasts listed here. Tons of stuff, always phenomenal broadcasts and racing here on GSRC. Up next, though, later today is the Sunday Drivers' Cup at Lime Rock. That goes live at about 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.